Hello friends, in this lecture we will continue with sketch modeling and we will know how to draw rectangles in CATIA. So first of all, as we know, we have to go to the sketch mode. So click on the start icon, mechanical design, and then go to sketcher. Insert a part name and then click OK. Click on this fit view. So click on this fit all in, isometric view, and then make a click on this view tab and go to ground option. And then click on the sketch icon, sketch once again, and we need to select a plane. So let's say I am selecting this XY plane. So select this plane, and now we can see the option of rectangle in the command toolbar. So on the right side we can see rectangles. When I make a click on this arrow, we can see different types of rectangle, that is rectangle, oriented rectangle, parallelogram, and then we have some profiles like elongated hole, cylindrical hole. After that we have hexagon, centered rectangle and centered parallelogram. So we will know about these rectangles one by one. So before drawing these rectangles, let us go to some basics of rectangles. So as we know, generally we have four types of rectangle. So first type of rectangle is the basic type of rectangle. When we draw this basic type of rectangle, we need two reference point. So let me define this reference point. So this end point will be the first point. So this is the first point of our rectangle. And this end point will be the second point of the rectangle. So when I draw the rectangle, we need to specify this first point and then we need to specify the second point. This horizontal value, this value, that is called width. So this is the width of the rectangle, and this vertical value is called the height. So this is the height of the rectangle. So let's go to the software and draw some rectangles. So click on this rectangle and select the basic type of rectangle. As we know, we need to define 2 points. So let's say I'm clicking here, this is the first point, and then drag the mouse. And we can see the preview of a rectangle. So click for the second point, click here, and we can see preview of the rectangle. So this is the horizontal length and this is the vertical length. So we can define the parameters of this rectangle. So go to constraint option, click on this horizontal line, and we can insert the dimension. So place this dimension, and then once again we can select this vertical length. Okay, click on this constraint, select this vertical length and place its dimension. Make a double click on this and we can change the dimension. Suppose I am taking this value 10 and let's say I am taking this value 15 and then click and then press enter. So in this way we can draw the rectangle. We can also draw this rectangle using the coordinate system. So undo this, Ctrl plus Z, and then go to rectangle and rectangle. So we can specify the first point. So let's say I am specifying the first point 0, press enter and then press tab, 0, press enter. And now we can see we have defined the first point, that is at the origin. And now drag the mouse. And now we can either define the second point by using this H and V, horizontal and vertical coordinate, or we can define this by width and height. So we can select any of the option according to our requirement. So this time I am specifying this horizontal value, that is 15, press enter and then press tab, enter value 10, press enter. So in this way we can also draw the rectangle. So this value is 10, place it, pick this dimension and drag it. We can also pick this dimension and drag it to the bottom. So in this way we can draw the rectangle. So I am undoing this. Ctrl plus Z once again. Next type of rectangle, that is called 3-point rectangle. So it is rectangle at some angle value, or it is called inclined rectangle. So to draw this type of rectangle, we need 3 reference points. So let me select some different color. Okay, so first of all, this corner point will be the first point. So this will be the first point of our rectangle, and this end point that is defining the width will be the second point. So this point will be the second point of this rectangle, and then this height will be the third point. So this is the point number 3, this point. So by using this 3 point we can draw the rectangle. So this is going to be width and this is going to be the height of the rectangle. Okay. Also in this type of rectangle, the angle between this width and height is always 90 degree. So it is always at right angle. So let's go to the software and draw this type of rectangle. Go to this rectangle and select this oriented or inclined rectangle. Click on this. So we need to select the first point as we know. Let me click here. This is the first point. Drag the mouse and click here. So this is the second point, and then we need to select the third point. So click here somewhere outside, and this is the third point. And now we can see we have defined width and height. And we can also see the symbol of right angle. So the angle between this height and width is always 90 degree. And then as we know, we can insert the dimension into this. So click on this constraint and insert the dimension. This is the width once again, and this is the height. So we can change this value by making the double click on the dimensions. So the next type of rectangle we have, that is called parallelogram. So in the parallelogram, the angle between this height and width is not 90 degree. So to draw a parallelogram, we need 3 points. So this is the first point. We will need this first point, and then we will need a second point. That will be the second point. Okay, and then we need a third point. So this point will be the third point. In this way we can draw the parallelogram. So the difference between this parallelogram and this oriented rectangle is that this angle, which was in oriented rectangle, is 90 degree, but in this type of parallelogram we can define our custom angle. So we can take any value of this angle. So that is the difference between this parallelogram and oriented rectangle. So let's go to the software. So go to rectangle and we can select this parallelogram. Click on this parallelogram, select this first point, second point, and then we need a third point. Now we can select this third point somewhere bottom to the part or in the top side. So I am selecting this top side, and now we can see we have drawn the parallelogram. In the parallelogram, opposite lines are parallel to each other. We can see this line and this line are parallel. Similarly, this line and this line are parallel to each other. In this way we can draw the parallelogram. So last type of rectangle, that is very important type of rectangle, is called this centered rectangle. Similarly, we have centered parallelogram. To understand the centered rectangle, we have this diagram. So in this centered rectangle, the first point will be center of the rectangle. So this is the center of the rectangle. This will be our first point. And the second point will be the corner point. So this corner point will be the second point of the rectangle. Okay. So this center is basically the intersection of midlines. So we have this horizontal line. When we take the midpoint of this line, so this is the midpoint. Similarly, midpoint of this bottom line. And then we draw a line that is highlighting in this blue color. Similarly, we take the midpoint of this vertical line and this line. So we draw this line and the intersection will be the midpoint. So midpoint means it will be the center of this rectangle. So we need 2 reference points to draw this type of rectangle. So the advantage of center rectangle is that it will always create a symmetric type of rectangle. So this rectangle is symmetric with respect to this vertical line and horizontal line. So that is the advantage. So let's go to the software, undo this, and go to center rectangle. So as we know, we need a first point. So click here, this is the first point. Drag the mouse and we can have the second point. So click here and this is the second point. And now we can insert the dimensions. So go to dimension option, insert this width, and once again insert this height. And we can see this is the center of this rectangle. So when we change this value, make a double click on this, and let's say I'm selecting this value 15. We can see this rectangle is once again symmetric with respect to this center point. Similarly, when I change this value to 10, once again the rectangle will be symmetric. So that is the advantage of center rectangle. So in this way we can draw different types of rectangle in CATIA.